Once we finished our trial run, it was showtime. Trial run? Did she do hypnotism on you too, Wolf? Just asking for a friend. And the friend is me, and I'm very concerned. We, or rather, Ali Sue, sat next to Blondie as he slept and began to read him a custom-made fairy tale.
Let's play pretend. I'll be the Ohime-sama, and you'll be the Mahotsukai. Sorry it's not the lead role, but it's still a really important part to play. I've already picked a setting, too. It's set in the Looking Glass world where everything is topsy-turvy. Amid a colorful cast of gender-flipped fairy tale characters, I'll take on the role of the heroine and join them in their twisted tales. How will the story end? It's up to me. You see, the wizard has a very important role. Sometimes an ally, sometimes an enemy. The bearer of great and mysterious power. And when I mess up, I want you to kill me.
Wolf's like, what?
The story can only have one heroine. Otherwise, it'll veer off track. Piece of cake for a guy like you, right? After all, you're my strongest piece.
Honestly, when she started talking to him, I wasn't sure it was gonna work. Sure, she was super smart and all, but how could a single college student possibly solve a problem that a whole team of doctors couldn't? Still, I held out the faintest hope that somehow her voice might get through to Blondie. And then, a miracle happened.
He talked back?
Is that the wizard? That is... okay, interesting. So that's how they knew that it was working. I am Earth. Your Majesty.
Wolf!
What?
Alistair! He talked! Well, not technically, but sure.
For real?
Yeah! His brain's still active while he's asleep, so maybe it was just a fluke, but I want to keep going and see what happens. Interesting. How did that...
Okay, alright. Interesting. I'm learning new things. Go for it!
Now I just need to introduce Yurika Arasa somehow.
By the way, Ali Sue,
What's up?
who's this wizard guy? Not sure I've heard of him. He's your backup? He's the boyfriend.
Mr. Wizard is Alistair's sixth personality. I'm the one who named him.
And bedoinked him. 6?
See, Ryoushi told me that Alistair's previous physician tried to create a unified personality for him.
So that's where you got the idea!
Oh, I see.
Interesting. So based off of that is... okay, so you're like applying that technique to make Yurika. Okay. Okay, this is like the most I've ever bought into the whole way she does this. I never picked up on that in the first game. I feel kind of dumb now. Now that it's spelled out, I'm like, ah, okay, I can see how you can extrapolate that. That makes some sense to me.
Yeah, I guess so. I never would have thought of it if I hadn't met Mr. Wizard for myself.
Nobody told me.
Of course not, silly. I haven't even told Ryoushi about him.
Yeah, because she's the worst. Wait, what? Now I'm confused.
He doesn't know that the wizard exists. According to Ryoushi, he was supposed to be a flawless specimen with all the knowledge and memories of the others. But Ryoushi thinks the attempt was a failure.
My wizard heart breaks again, just realizing like she spent so much time with him just trying to learn how to... like how complete and how well was that doctor's strategy, and realizing he really does have like all the memories. Like he was created to be exactly what he ended up being. Just because he didn't want to kill all the other personalities like the Doctor wanted doesn't mean he was a failure. Oh my goodness. My mind is blown. Except it actually wasn't.
Correct.
Wow. So he's been hiding this whole time? I thought about what Blondie had told me. Specifically, his fears about some other guy.
Wolf, you are so dang smart. I love you.
Does Blondie know at least?
No, I haven't told a single soul about Mr. Wizard. Until now.
I'm the first. Go! Don't get distracted! Why did you hide it?
He's a very guarded person. I spoke to him multiple times, and at first he only answered when he felt like it. And he would always pretend to be one of the others. But over time, he started to let his true personality show.
Aha. I knew it. This wizard guy must have gotten jealous of Blondie and decided to play a prank on him.
Oh, is that what happened? Oh god, Wizard, I hate you for that. I mean... Okay, this might be like a weird mental thing. I don't even know how I'm trying to word what I'm trying to say. Like, okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Roast me in the comments if you want, I deserve it. But anyway, when I thought that the wizard had slept with Yurika, of course I was torn because Alistair did not deserve that, and Yurika cheating on Alistair is horrible. But, like, devil's advocate for the wizard is like, he was in love with a girl, and yes, he was aware that Alistair was in love with her too, but it was just like, hey, I was supposed to replace you, and, you know, I'm going to act on the feelings that you're too afraid to act on. If she wants to reciprocate, fine, and we're gonna have sex. I'm like, okay, I mean, I can kind of justify it. Like I said, roast me in the comments, I deserve it. But it's worse now for me to know that the wizard intentionally got worked up and made a mess in Alistair's boxers to make him think that they had had sex together to break him. I hate that. That is, for some reason in my mind, way worse than if they had actually slept together. And I think my brain is actually broken now because I feel that way. I need mental help. Ryoushi, prescribe me something, please. I need a professional's help. Oh, I've learned so much in like less than 10 minutes, and I don't even know how to process what I've learned. Anyway, continuing. What?
So does the wizard have the hots for you by any chance?
Are you gonna be honest? You must be psychic, Wolf.
Nah, it's obvious. I mean, we're friends, aren't we?
Yeah, that's true.
But in that case, you're kind of...
Yeah, I know. I'm being really cruel. Is there a heart beating in that chest? Like, you're smart. You know what you're doing. You act on it anyway. You cry, but like, are you crying? What are you? I'm not even like convinced. It's like, I'm not convinced that you are even crying because you're genuinely sad. Sometimes I feel like you're like, well, at a time like this, a person would probably cry. I'm just moving on. But I don't have a choice. The game has already begun.
So it's a game, huh?
He's a smart guy with a lot of self-discipline. Plus, he has all of their memories. even though Alistair is asleep, I'm sure the wizard knows what's going on.
So you're taking advantage of him?
Whatever it takes to win. To that end, I'll manipulate whoever I have to. Family, friends, even the one I love.
The way you word that. On the way home from the hospital, we discussed Blondie's condition.
I really wish I had an EEG headset.
What's that?
You've never seen one? You see them on game shows sometimes. It's a helmet with tons of wires plugged into it. Well, they're not all helmets, but you know what I mean.
Maybe?
It records the electrical activity of the brain so you can kind of tell how they're feeling. And it might give us a better understanding compared to purely relying on heart rate and facial movements.
Don't you gotta be a doctor to use one of those?
If it's professional grade, yeah, but they sell a simplified version that anyone can buy.
She showed me her phone screen.
See?
Whoa, that's sick! Looks kinda sci-fi. You're telling me anybody can buy one of these?
It sure looks like it.
She progressed to the checkout screen. And it only costs $3,500. Wait, how much? That's a little too pricey when we don't even know if it'll work.
Oops, my finger slipped.
What? You bought it? For $3,500?
I have a lot of money saved up.
What if it turns out to be useless?
Then I guess it'll get tossed in the trash. Still worth a try, though.
Cinderella's spinning around somewhere. Like, girl just spent that money like it was nothing.
Lucky me for having a rich family, am I right?
She was completely unflappable.
I mean, that's one word for it. Completely clinically insane is another.
When we arrived at her house, she bowed her head.
Thanks for staying so late with me, and for walking me home, too.
No problemo. If I left a cute girl like you to walk home all by your lonesome, there's no telling what kind of wolves might attack.
Yeah.
For a moment, she looked deeply vulnerable. Oh! Then I remembered she did get attacked once.
I was gonna say, it might not have been the best choice of words.
Should I have walked you to Ryoshi's place instead?
No, that's okay. Have a good night.
Thanks. See you tomorrow.
You're not leaving?
I'll wait until you lock the door and turn the lights on. Then I'll go.
Thanks, Wolf.
If you need anything, message me or call out for me and I'll be there.
Okay.
She went inside and I watched until the lights flickered on.
Morse code.
Then I heard a knock on one of the glass windows, and when I looked up, I saw her waving at me. Nice. Looks like she's good to go. Once I confirmed that she was safe, I headed home. At least this was some small way I could make myself useful. Mr. Wizard, huh? I think maybe he and I could have been friends.
He thinks so too, bud. He thinks so too. Are you gonna have a heart-to-heart with him in a fantasy at some point?
And so the two of us continued to read fairy tales to Blondie. The first tale featured the wizard as the main character.
Knew it. Are you gonna give me a timeline for the order you guys went in? Because I would love that.
This is a story about searching one's soul for the truth. And the protagonist is you. I had that same dream again. My name is Yurika Arisa, and I'm 19 years old. I live in a mansion with my 5 handsome fiancés. Cinderella, the oldest, Snow White, the second son, Red Riding Hood, the third son, Kaguya, the fourth son, and Gretel, the youngest. I first met them about a year and a half ago.
As Ali Sue talked, I kept watch to make sure no one would interrupt. The rest of the time was spent listening to her love story.
Dude, you gotta listen to 7 of those. Listen to her, like, self-insert herself into 7 fanfictions. Okay, great. I can't wait till you hear his red story. It's just gonna be full of bloody noses, basically.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
What is?
Writing stories with real people in them. I mean, it's literally set here in our town, too. I was thinking it'd be more of a fantasy story.
I figured it'd be easier to imagine this way.
Oh, like world building?
Yeah. After all, this town is all Alistair knows. But I think the traumatic experiences are most important of all. Each of the characters inside Alistair have deep emotional scars. It's often why they were created in the first place. In order to heal them, it's vital that we teach them to accept themselves for who they are. Like I said before, role-playing is all about changing your viewpoint to gain a new understanding of your problems, right? As the story progresses, the problems they face will gradually become clear.
So once they learn to overcome those problems, they'll get their happy ending. And we're gonna do that 6 times? This is gonna be a lot harder than I thought.
7 times.
Huh? Wait, am I missing something? Cinderella, Snow White, Red Riding Hood, Kaguya, Wizard, and Gretel. That's 6.
But there's still the epilogue.
The what? The conclusion to the story? Let me guess. Alice, right?
Huh?
So I'm right.
You knew.
Yeah, unlike you, Alistair, like, tells me a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Blondie told me. The story could only start once Arisa met Alice. So if the epilogue was a mirror reflection of the prologue, Alice would have to be part of it. The wizard wasn't your only backup, was he? You were including Alice in that too.
Yeah.
But aren't Alice and Alistair the same guy? Unlike the rest of them, he's not a separate personality.
Yes, that's right. Alice and Alistair are 2 sides of the same coin. That's how I know he'll help us.
But which one do you really love, Ali Sue? Never mind.
Okay then.
Curious as I was, I decided not to ask. The answer wouldn't change anything, after all. From there, Ali Sue spent all day and night recounting her fairy tales.
I had a dream. In the dream, I was the wizard, reflecting on the past.
At long last, it seemed the wizard's story was coming to an end.
In the dream, I didn't realize that I was me. But when I awoke, I was Yurika Arisa. Was I really Yurika Arisa, dreaming I was the wizard? Or was I actually the wizard, dreaming that I was Yurika Arisa? What was reality? During the dream, I had learned of the wizard's pain. And now that the dream was over, I found I loved him dearly.
Did he squeeze your hand?
Ali Sue? What's wrong?
He grabbed my sleeve.
Whoa, you're right!
Looks like she can handle the rest from here. The princess is going to save her prince.
I mean, it's gonna be a long journey for her, but she will get there eventually.
Well then, I guess they'll live happily ever after, eh? Though, to be honest, the ending makes me wonder if it's really happy at all. It was kinda weird, not gonna lie. You wrote it so they'd slowly realize they were characters in Blondie's head, right? But you left their love triangle unresolved. The wizard's gonna pop up in the other stories too, right? And exclusively in the bad endings? Man, what a downer role.
Get her, Wolf. Tell her. Defend my boy. Even though I'm still mad at him for his prank. That was the worst.
I wasn't trying to criticize her. Real talk, I just felt bad for the wizard. He knew he'd never win the heart of his beloved, yet he still committed himself to her cause, and he paid the price in misery.
Yep. Couldn't have put it better myself, dude.
Plus, the wizard sounded like the name of a supporting character, not a lead role.
Sound familiar?
He's crying.
He is!
But he seems calm, at least.
After a moment of silence, she explained how she and the wizard first met. As she talked, I could tell just how much she loved him.
Yep.
And here is where the story ends. The story of a white pawn who encounters the Red Queen. How did you like my first attempt? I'll send it to you with all my love in the hope that it will heal your heart.
You know, I think I had the wrong idea all along.
Huh?
I thought the wizard was only a bit part, but evidently not. As weird as the story was, he was totally the protagonist. I thought I wasn't sure who Ali Sue truly loved, but I was wrong about that. She loved Alistair for all his many facets, and as a result, she wanted all of his characters to find love too.
Yeah. There are actually plenty of stories that feature a wizard protagonist, you know. But I imagine his real love story has only just begun.
God, I wish that was me.
Poor Alistair. Good grief, I can't get the right person. Poor Wolf is what I'm trying to say. I mean, poor are all the other people I said. But I'm trying to say poor Wolf. Maybe you can make like a mirror image of yourself and then Yurika can hypnotize you and get a Yurika in there for your mirror wolf or something. I'm just spitballing ideas here, man.
One day, I was buying drinks at the hospital vending machine when I heard a voice directly behind me.
You and Yurika are up to something, aren't you?
What? Crap, it's Ryoushi! Ha ha ha! Don't be silly, big bro! We're not doing anything! It was obvious he could see right through me.
Well, I have no intention of prying, but just don't overdo it, alright?
Okay.
See ya. Look out for her while I'm gone, would you?
He didn't try to delve too deeply into our affairs. If I had to guess, he was trying to be considerate in his own way. I was barely an adult, and I certainly wasn't a doctor, so I couldn't say for sure if he was doing the right thing. But, if nothing else, I was grateful that he chose to watch over us in silence. Ali Sue! I bought drinks! Let's crack 'em open!
Is she asleep?
Wait, what the? When I returned to the hospital room, I found her sitting in her chair with her eyes closed. Is she asleep? Hello? Ali Sue! I waved a hand in front of her face. No response. She must be really tired. Careful not to make a sound, I slowly set the drinks onto the table. She didn't stir.
Wolf, please.
Good girl. Oh my god! I'm petting her hair!
Is it as soft as Red imagined?
She's adorable, even with her eyes closed. Even my whispering didn't wake her. With all her defenses down, my suppressed feelings were suddenly much harder to control. I could get away with anything right now. For a split second, I debated whether to kiss her.
Right in front of Alistair. Right in front of my salad.
But it was a trap. And if I fell for it, I'd lose the friendship.
And a lot more. You'd lose my respect for you, Wolf.
Allie Sue! Allie Sue! Gently, I shook her awake.
I'm scared now that in one of the other endings he is just going to kiss her while she's asleep, and I don't know if I'm prepared for that.
What the... Did I fall asleep?
Yep, you were out cold.
I wasn't drooling, was I?
Oh yeah, like a waterfall, my dude.
No way!
Go look in the mirror.
Okay!
She jumped to her feet and ran over to the sink. Yeah, I knew I couldn't do it. Come to think of it, I hadn't even kissed her in my fantasies.
Not even your wedding one.
You're a liar, Wolf.
Where did that come from?
I wasn't drooling at all.
You sure? I feel like I saw you gushing away.
Bad Wolf! Hiya! Forward punch!
This is just like in my fantasy!
What?
Oh, don't worry about it!
Okay.
She's like, sus.
So, seems like we're making good progress with your stories, huh? At first, I was on the edge of my seat, you know, in more ways than one. But at this point, I'm just excited to see where it goes.
Thanks.
Now, if only Blondie would wake up.
What's wrong?
Well, I was just thinking. Once we get Blondie and the gang to their happy endings, what'll happen to them? I mean, Blondie as in Red Riding Hood, not Alistair.
If we can heal their emotional scars, they might stop being disassociations altogether.
So... they'll merge.
Would you miss Red and the others if they disappeared?
I mean, duh. Alistair's great and all, but I've been searching for Red this whole time. I still haven't told him any of the things I've been wanting to say. Deep down, I found myself torn between two guys, just like Allie Sue.
Dang.
Who was it that I cared about more? Red Riding Hood or Alistair? I loved them both. They were both my pals. I couldn't possibly choose. I didn't want to lose either one. But if it'd be easier on Alistair for the rest to disappear, then that's what I'd want. Alistair's the guy I've been befriending this past year and a half. Maybe I won't see Red again, but at the very least, you can tell him how I feel through your story.
Right. Don't worry. I'll be sure to tell him.
Yeah, at least there's that. He did get your message across.
What the? I fell asleep?
Are you awake?
Oh, it's you. Hey, Blondie.
So sorry to disappoint!
No offense, but I'd rather it was Allie Sue instead.
It could easily have been her, but you chose me.
Yeah, I know.
You've been working hard, I notice.
I know, right? You're both total jerkwads. First you let me think I'm your bestie, then you ghost me. Don't look at me like that. Congrats on your happy ending.
Oh, thank you.
Aw, lucky. I wish I had a girlfriend too.
You can't have mine!
Chill, I know.
Am I right in thinking that you're in love with her?
Yeah, you could say that.
I see. Well, why do you love?
Because she's totally adorable, I guess. She's gorgeous by default, but her smile is to die for. I could look at it forever. Plus, she's got a great personality, a sense of humor, mad cooking skills. But those are all shallow, surface-level traits. The fact of the matter is, I can't see any deeper than that. I can tell when she's thinking about something, and I can tell there's more to her than meets the eye.
Like you.
Like me. But I don't know the real Ally Sue. I've always wondered why exactly she fell in love with Blondie, but it's not just because Blondie's a great guy or whatever. It's because he's the only one who knows the real her, isn't it? You know, maybe I have multiple personality disorder too.
Huh?
I'm having a whole conversation with you in my head.
Doesn't everyone do that sort of thing from time to time?
What? Fantasize about ideal scenarios where everyone's perfect?
Yes.
I guess they do. Thanks, Blondie. It means a lot to see you again, even if it's only in my head.
Likewise.
I figure I probably won't see the real Red Riding Hood ever again. But that's okay. At least now he knows the truth.
Yes, I do. All thanks to you for telling her the story.
Yeah. Deep down, I'd kill to hang out and talk again. But if it would make Alistair miserable, then forget it. Because I've spent way more time with Alistair than I ever did with you. So this is goodbye, Red Riding Hood.
Aw, my heart.